Hey, y'all. Before this episode begins, I just wanted to say thank you. It is the end of 2025. This episode will come out in 2026, and it's been quite the year. And I know you have a ton of options for watching and listening to content, and you've chosen to watch or listen to this podcast. So, thank you. Also, a massive thank you to the ongoing YouTube and Spotify channel members. I hope you're enjoying your ad-free and early released episodes. I couldn't do this podcast without your support, so thank you. If you want to learn more on how to become a member and get those perks, you can do so by clicking the link in the description, and it'll help you to sign up for membership on either Spotify or on YouTube. Yeah, so I just passed right by episode 50, and I can't believe I've already done 50 episodes. This will be episode 51, and it's just been a incredible experience the last couple years, a little under 2 years, traveling around, meeting people in the community, learning from some incredible athletes, and members of the endurance community. It's just been such a honor to be able to have incredible conversations with them. So I hope you find it as valuable as I have. So I hope you had good holidays and have lots of bikepacking adventures planned for 2026 and ultra running endurance adventures. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Dexter.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast out in this remote studio in the desert.
Dude, what a great spot.
Yeah.
Picture Rocks area on the SAUER route. I've only been to a few parts in Tucson. I mean, I grew up near here, but I never came out this far west, only to like Old Tucson Studios, which I drove through Old Tucson Studios on the way up here, but never up in this area. It's really fantastic up here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You get a little slice of like, what the outer parts of, Low Sonoran mountainy desert bits are like. I hadn't ridden on this road much coming out here. It's like a gravel road coming through the national park. I'm like, man, I should ride this more.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there's, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the side-by-side traffic's a little bit controlled around here. It doesn't seem as bad as the Phoenix area.
Yeah, I think so for whatever reason. They mostly hang out east of Tucson on Reddington, the road that's on the AZT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that's where if you want to get dusted, that's the place to do it.
Right. Yeah, I do recall that when you turn off of Reddington and you go down, oh man, it's escaping me now the name. You take that first right and there's just that rock crawly section.
Yeah, yeah.
I forget the name of the spot. But
I don't know.
Yeah. I recall going down there on the 300, on the AZT 300 on my bike and seeing razors over in that area. But hey, I was listening to on the way up here, on the drive up here, I was listening to the Rodeo Labs podcast, and they were talking about, they did a whole thing on gravel tires and the big gravel tire revolution. I know your bread and butter is gravel riding and ultra gravel endurance stuff.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. I'm definitely much less of a mountain bike guy.
Hey,
getting in there.
Did you ever ride mountain bikes? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I rode a mountain bike for a total of like several hours before the age of 25.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely something I'm new to. I'm getting into it, but I definitely do not have the skills of like people who grew up on mountain bikes.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Well, what do you think about this trend from your experience, this trend with the wider tires, the 2.2 tires sort of overtaking the gravel scene over the last few years?
I am a huge fan. My gravel bike that's over there, my Otso Wahila C, has a 2.2 and a 2.0 on it, and that's just what I standard ride on a gravel bike. I think it's the way to go. Getting flats is not fun. Rolling over things is fast. Comfort obviously matters if you're going for a really long time. I'm all about the big tire thing.
Is that an Icon? on the front?
That is an Icon, yeah.
So a 2.2 Icon, and then what's on the rear?
The back, I think it's just the tire that comes on the bike. That's Hualby G1 something.
Yeah.
Sorry, like if it's a 50. Yeah, I usually race though on Continental Race Kings
Okay.
because they have a very low rolling resistance, and I have not flatted on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Race Kings are legendary.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
They've discontinued them, though, and replaced them with the Dubnatals.
Yeah, I've heard some people say they're different. I haven't tried them. I'm definitely probably going to give them a try. Yeah, at some point before next year, I should probably try those out before racing on them.
Yeah. Now, did you get your experience with the Race Kings? Is that firsthand experience, or is that from like bicyclerollingresistance.com or?
Bicyclerollingresistance.com. I've spent too much time on that website. Yeah, and they've just felt good. I could definitely feel a little bit like Icons feel a little slower. I don't know. Maybe that's just your confirmation bias, but I don't know. I was just coming over here today, and I'm like, because I put these back on. These are kind of my training tires. I've raced on them in the past. And I'm just using them until they're completely destroyed. And yeah, they just do not feel as fast. But I don't know. Mostly I go by rollingresistance.com, and then do they flat, and do I feel confident on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were on this podcast. They were talking about there was this new guy, John Karash is his name. So speaking of bicyclerollingresistance.com, yeah, John Karash, JOHNKARRASCH. He is using this thing called the Chung method to measure this guy, Robert Chung. So it takes, I had to write this down. It takes power, speed, elevation, and data, all that data from outdoor rides, and it estimates it into aerodynamic drag and rolling resistance. So what he's doing is he's basically doing a 2.0 version of bicyclerollingresistance.com, because those are all drum tests, right? Where they just put the tire in like a controlled environment on these drums,
right,
and then measure the resistance that way. So this is actually like taking outdoor data and remeasuring all these tires in more real life scenarios. And it's somewhat showing that, and then they classified gravel. There's like category 1, 2, and 3 as far as like the roughness of the terrain. And basically gravel, the conclusion I recall is the gravel tires, like 50 millimeter and smaller, do well if it's just like smooth, nice gravel. But anything that becomes mixed, the mountain bike tires actually perform well over time because they have more conformability.
Right.
That contributes better to the lower rolling resistance.
Yeah, they're not bouncing off of things. They're rolling over them.
Right.
Yeah.
And the tire pressure probably is a huge contributor to that too. So
yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I've not heard of that. The Chung method.
Yeah, the Chung method.
Okay.
And this guy's got spreadsheets, and I mean he's deep in, and I'll probably send you down another rabbit hole if you've already spent a lot of time on bicyclerollingresistance.com. So when did you switch to wider tires? Was there a point in time in your life where you were running 40 millimeter tires?
Yeah, so originally my first bike that I bought, that was a new bike, was in 2020, and it was a Salsa Warbird, and I could fit 45s. And I mean, at first I remember taking that bike out on mountain bike trails and had 32 millimeter tires on it and having a time. It was a good time, but a rough time. And I don't know, you kind of just don't know what you're missing out on until you give it a try. And eventually I put 45s on it and did first bikepacking race right across Arizona on that. And I wasn't miserable and man, I wish I had bigger tires. But now I would never do that ride again on 45 millimeter tires. But yeah, I just kept wanting to kind of explore more and more places. And so naturally that means having to put bigger tires on, or just have a more capable off-road bike. And got a Salsa Cutthroat at one point that can fit, I think, 2.6. And yeah, then that's kind of when I heard about the whole wider tires are faster on gravel thing. And I was like, well, that just kind of fits with already, I want to, in ultras, you want to be comfortable, obviously. And, I like going wherever on a bike. I like being able to just look at a road and be like, I can go down that and it'll be okay. And yeah, so just kind of like a natural convergent point. And then when I got the Wahila was about a year ago, and definitely a big selling point for me was the fact that they had big tire clearance on the bike. Yeah.
You also have a Finrear?
Yeah.
Otto Finrear?
Yeah, it's like the more mountain bikey, bikepacky one. Yeah.
It seems kind of like a do-everything bike. It can be configured with drop bars or flat bars.
Yeah, I think it's like definitely not as like a pure like, trail mountain bike. I mean, not trail, like not like a, if I were to pick one bike to do the Arizona Trail and I can only choose one bike, I would not choose the Fenrir, but like it can do, yeah, it is really capable in a lot of different things. I think makes it a great like bikepacking race bike, for a wide variety of terrain. Like I would definitely do the Tour Divide on that. I'm going to do Hellenic and further Pyrenees and probably the AZT on it next year.
That's all coming up next year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hellenic, AZT. What was the first one?
Further Pyrenees. It's I forget the name. I think Further Journal is like the organization that runs them. They're based out of England and they do a bunch of events. They're generally shorter, but yeah, it's like a pretty mountain bikey, hike-a-bikey race up in the Pyrenees.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot of fun.
So you're going to be doing some international travel next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Trying to get it all together to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot of like talking with sponsors and sending out your stuff and asking for money and like figuring out all your expenses, and yeah, it's a lot to figure out.
Yeah. So what's that process like to initiate those sponsorship requests? It looks like you've had a variety of sponsors you've been able to partner with over the last couple of years as you've, really started moving up the ranks in these races. What's that process like? Do you ask them? Do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so this is a thing that I did not know, and as like someone coming into this who like definitely did not grow up at all knowing about like the bike industry. Like I did my first bike race in 2021 when I was 26 years old. And yeah, so like the initial first sponsor I ever got was just, so I won the Race Across Arizona. That was the first ultra race I did. And the organizer, Craig and Minnie, wonderful people, they were like, hey, we have a relationship with Redshift and with State, like, reach out, and get you in touch with them if you're interested. And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So that's like the first time I ever got a like sponsorship. It's been a process of like trying to learn what those ways are, because a lot of it's like, the information's not out there. It's not like, I mean, some brands are great and they'll like advertise like, hey, we're looking for people.
Yeah.
Apply by this time. But a lot of it's just like, oh, apparently they usually are looking for people around like October. Okay, I didn't know that until it was like November this year. I was like, okay, that's just when it happens. Cool. Yeah, apparently people want a pitch deck. What the heck is a pitch deck? I don't know what that is. And there's all this like inside industry jargon and whatever that you just like have to know. Uh-huh. And it's like, yeah, it's all kind of insular. But yeah, unfortunately, one thing, I have a coach who, has been in this business and like he's been very helpful, like asking him questions about that sort of thing, like about how the industry works. And also have friends who are in the industry who can, recommend me, send me an email, or like show me what they're doing. I mean, specifically Marone Golfman and Stephanie Hall have been very helpful with that. So then I think kind of other than like getting results is, I think, kind of the main thing, and like putting stuff out there, but like, getting a friend as a photographer, or hiring a photographer to take some photos of you, kind of think through what your what you have to offer is, and like what makes you unique, and like what's your kind of story to tell. And if you're able to get people's emails, that's really helpful. Like if you can ask, like maybe you have a relationship with one brand, you're like, hey, do you know any other brands, who you have like a relationship with? You can send me their email, because that's more helpful than just like going. I've been spent a lot of time like going onto the website of a brand and like looking through and like, okay, where's the like contact us? Where can I find an email? Maybe they have this thing where they have ambassadors, but a lot of them don't, and it's like, yeah. So a lot of it's kind of been firing from the hip in that way of just like, how many people can I send off to, and then like see who is willing and who like I have a good vibe with, and who is like communicative and has a good reputation. But yeah, putting together like the pitch deck, which is apparently just like a slideshow of just like here's yourself, say your results are, say what your like philosophy is, say what like what you can offer, what you're looking for, what like your plans for the next year are, and like put that on a background of like professional looking display, and get some good images of you, and like put that together. So yeah, I had a friend who sent me his to like look at, and so I kind of had a template of like, okay, this is what this is.
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of time like at the library putting this together on Canva, and yeah, then now just kind of like spreading that around to different brands. Yeah, I've had some success in the last month of getting some people on board, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there minimum requirements that they ask of you, like certain posting requirements on social media? Are they all sort of different in that way, or?
Yeah, a lot of them will have that. I mean, some brands have, give like a contract, or like, here's what we're expecting from you, and here's directly what we're offering. And then other ones, it's a lot more like just, there's nothing. Redshift, I've never had like anything official with them, but just like had good communication with them. I've met some people from them at events. It's been really helpful. And yeah, it was just like, they'll ask me like, hey, can you post this or whatever? Or like, hey, we're trying to market this thing. Can you, give us a hand with this? Or, yeah, and they've just been super helpful. Like I'll send, tell them like, hey, this thing broke or whatever. Can you, can you send a replacement for this? It's been a couple years or whatever. And it's just been like a very easy, like, communication, where like I haven't really felt the need to like have a contract. And I like asked them about that, and they're like, yeah, no, we're good. Just, you're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing. I was like, yeah, let me know, if there's anything specific you want me to do. So yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people will just call you up on the phone, which is great. That's like super handy. A brand like wants to be that communicative. I feel like that's huge for me.
Do they want you? I mean, they obviously want you to win, right? These things are get places place podium as much as possible, right? At least that was the trend maybe many years ago. I had heard at some one point that these brands were starting to look for people with different stories, and not necessarily people that were just winning.
Yeah.
That wasn't their drive, because people that were a brand wants you to do well on their gear, right? Mm-hmm. With their products, right? And then the better you do at something, the more exposure you get, podcasts and media and stuff like that, right? And the more exposure the brands get, right? That's sort of the original relationship, between the athlete and the brand, right? But I feel like sometimes it can go off the rails. Like athletes don't necessarily believe 100% in those products. There's a fine line between trying to make money, because I think the ultimate pursuit is to be able to do this professionally, which means you're able to not work a real job and you just race bikes professionally somehow, right? Are you in pursuit of like making this your full-time gig?
I think some level of that. I think not entirely. I think like to be a balanced human, it's nice to have a little bit of other things going on. Yeah. Like I don't know. I'd like to keep working through the winter, and like there's other things I'm passionate about and like want to, I feel like, have some use for, and I feel like the perspective part is really handy. And I think also using your hands to do other work is super handy, especially in bike packing, to like get some off bike exercise.
Right.
Yeah.
So like what, give me an example of what you try to do.
So I've been working with a nonprofit called Wild Arizona for the last 5 years that does like field conservation work. And so, a lot of manual labor outdoors, with talking with people, like building community. Yeah. And it's, I think, just healthy for people to do that. At least for me, it's good for me, and most people who do it, find that it's like, it's good for you to do the work. So yeah, I think a little bit of balance is good. But yeah, like I'm trying to, I'm definitely, my goal is like more professionalism and like to, contribute to the bike industry and the bike community and make bike pack racing like more of a legit thing and something that, gets more support from bike brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legitimizing bike pack racing.
It's a controversial thing. Somewhat, because it's also a very silly thing, and like I don't know, not everyone has to do it that way, but I don't know. I think getting some slice of that into backpack racing, I think could be beneficial. Yeah, just like getting investment in it. I don't know. Yeah, obviously I'm biased because like I really like doing it, and like I've found that I can be successful at it. So it's like, it's nice for me. But I get that there's some people who like want to keep it really underground and not as professionalized. But like, I don't know. I think like having a community around it where like you're, I don't know. I just think like support is good. But yeah, I think having events where it's less of that, and some people want to keep their thing really underground and less professionalized. I think that's totally great, and I'm all for there being like different kinds of events for what people are looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ultra sports are growing, and I talk about this a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
And ultra running and
Yeah.
the playbook that's been put out in front of us.
Yeah, you got a lot of perspective on that through that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this real. I mean, nobody thought that Cocodona could be a thing, and this is and they did it, and it went through multiple land management groups, and they were able to get the permitting, and because that's a lot of legitimizing bike pack racing is a lot of what Marone and I talked about when he was on the pod.
Right.
And he kind of has the same perspective as you, which is, he sees all this momentum in Europe and this community and culture of, it wouldn't call it bike pack racing necessarily, but it's more ultra endurance racing, sort of this different, very European perspective on it. And there does seem to be sort of like an ease there for some reason for it. And I think part of that is the land management issues are different.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's a lot easier it's all mostly private land in Europe, more so than the US, where we have all these public lands, and that's great. And I love the public lands. However, when it comes time to organize something, sometimes it can become very difficult, and you get different. You have to permit, you have to get insurance, you have to deal with owl migratory patterns, conservation groups. You have to deal with all this politics.
Yep.
Right. And it essentially, the only way to scale it is you have to have enough people signing up for these things that they can put enough money into this to make the race director be able to either hire the right people or spend the time themselves dealing with all of these issues that arise year after year after year to be able to put these races on. Right. So there's like a threshold you have to reach.
Totally.
And I just haven't seen the demand. I'm a supply and demand guy.
Sure.
I think one of the best phrases I've heard recently is supply and demand is undefeated. It basically runs everything. The economy, all the way up, all the way down to stupid bike pack racing. And we're not seeing 500 people sign up for these things. We're not, if we were, you're damn right there'd be somebody that would be monetizing it.
No, you're right. You're totally right. I think the U.S. is not there.
So why? That's the question. Why do you think they're not there?
I think a big part of it is just like a less of a culture of cycling in general, and that the U.S. like bike riding is a thing that certain people do. When in Europe, it's a thing that like most people do, and to some degree. And here, it's like a hobby for weirdos who are okay, like maybe getting run over or like having that danger. When like in Europe, it's a way to get around. And so, like, it makes the sport so much more reachable when it's a thing that people can engage with in their everyday life, But still, I mean, I come across a lot of people in the U.S. who are like, have like really never ridden a bike, but they still think the racing is cool. Like when I was in Kansas for Unbound, the XL, I stayed with this family in Council Grove, which is a lovely little town, and they, there was, I'm trying to remember like who there like really ran into who like rode a bike. I mean, like, yeah, I think one of them, I think, like had been a hobby people had for a little bit, and then there was this kid in middle school who like kind of started getting into it a little bit just after that. But yeah, people were like stoked on just like, here's this race and this event and like this, just the sport of it. There was interest in that, and like, granted, that's a lot just around gravel, but I think like the XL has certain appeal of like, people can just be like, oh wow, 350 miles, and you're gonna have to go into into gas stations. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen like examples of people just being like, wow, that's amazing, this is cool, even outside of people who ride bikes. So like there is some bit of maybe spectator-ish potential for it, or at least like that sort of engagement, which I don't know, getting way off track here, but there's something I think is really cool about ultra running is that like there's that way to engage with the sport other than doing it. You can be on a crew, you can volunteer at this event,
Yeah.
Which I think is I would like to see more of that in bikepack racing, at least opportunities for that. I think part of that's going to mean less of it being as strictly like unsupported in all ways, at least like having some events that are a little bit different and maybe have some sorts of support, or that kind of professional organization that like requires people to like help with the event in some way that isn't just riding it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, ultra bikepack racing is very selfish, right? And
Yeah.
ultra running is very communal.
Yeah, which I think is cool.
And that you're right, 100% you're right. It's this, we're going to all help to get you through this. We got the crew with all the snacks, and we're going to be up at all hours of the night for you. And you got the pacers who, help get you through the hard times. And, and there is something that you build this like deep connection. I've seen it with my wife as an ultra runner.
Yeah.
I've seen her build these friendships, these deep connections through those moments. And we have those to a certain extent in bikepacking. Some of my best friends in the last couple of years are people I met just in the deep moments on bikepack races. And I've hung with them for a little while just because I needed somebody to talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's all random. That's all. Right. It just happens randomly, right? So what would it look like? Like, would someone be bold enough to go against the grain and create a bikepacking race and say, we're going to have a whole cruise scene. We're going to allow a category. I think right across Arizona does this. They do a supported category, right? But it just never seemed to like catch up, or no one else executed it, and it never caught that same, because I think that grew in the ultra scene. It grew out of 5Ks and 10Ks and marathons and
they
took all those same experiences, and then they just made it longer.
Right. We do have, there's like Unbound XL, and I think Gravel World's Long Voyage are kind of an example of this. And then like Doom has also gone a little bit down this path.
Yeah.
Like last year when Doom had the, colossal rainstorm that made Doom 2025 what it was, which was amazing and also rough.
Yeah.
Andrew Honorba, bless his heart, like, pretty much didn't sleep for days, trying to like wrangle together. It was like he had to completely change the route like less than a week out from the race because flooding and high water and various crossings. And he organized. There's this town that has like a community center, and he got them on board to pretty much host an aid station because the timing of and placement of resupplies was so difficult. He was like, "There's nothing here. Like, you need to get something in this spot somewhere." And so he got this town. And they had done similar things in the past, but like the community center, they had showers. You could sleep there. Had a bunch of food just laid out. And yeah, he's gotten that organized a couple times. Like, there's he'll get like an Airbnb or something that like everyone can stay at that has food or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's little bits of that. And in Unbound XL, there was a long stretch where there was no resupply, so they just had like a full aid station like they would have in the 200 in one of the towns, and it was just staffed by pretty much people who live in that town. Yeah. And they like made goulash and had a bunch of snacks. It was wonderful. And like, I'd love to see more of that. Yeah, and I realize as someone who co-hosts a race here, like I have an opportunity to make some of that happen. But it's also just it's hard just to make an event.
Right.
I am really impressed by I don't know what like someone like Andrew can put together. But like we Henley, my co-host, and I have an idea we'd like to put. There's like a spot where you can like 200 miles into the 300-ish mile event, get to a bit of the route kind of easily from the highway. And so I want to like drive out there with my car and set up like a campsite and like make dinner, make breakfast. And it's like, that's not really, if you're really racing it and you're trying to get it done in 30 hours, like that doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
But it's like once I have the details together, I'm going to throw it out there and be like, hey, advertise like, hey, this is going to be available from this time to this time. And if that keeps you out there and helps you finish the event and that's something you want to take part in, I think like just that kind of communal thing where it's like people helping each other, I think is cool. Like, no one does these things alone. And if that's an experience you want to have, I think it's cool. Or at least I think some of it can be cool. I think that there definitely is value to having that solo experience, which is why I'm in favor of like there being both options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're talking about SAUER, Sonoran Ultra Endurance Ride.
Yeah.
For folks that
Yes.
don't know. Yeah. Yes. Which is in, let's see, we're going to plug it here. It's March 6th of this year.
It is March 6th of this year. The registration begins on the 25th is our first registration wave. And then January 1st. Yeah, it's a thing in Tucson. Henley and I started it last year, kind of looking at the demand for there's a lot of people who ride bikes in Tucson, and there's not an event that kind of like is in Tucson, starts and ends in Tucson. You can just kind of like leave from home and go do it. So yeah, we put together this route. That's 300 miles to last year. We got, I think it was like 10 people who finished out of like 17. And I think we'll get twice that number more this year. And we have a 130 mile smaller option too. But like, really trying to, I like racing. I like going fast, or at least trying to. Like,
dude, you go fast. Hate to break to you. You're a fast fella.
It's fun. It's nice to like do an event that's like, I get to kind of more engage with all parts of the people who want to do this.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to do it in 6 days or more, like having a space where like the fast people and the like people who don't care at all about that can like come together into one event, I think is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Saurito, right?
Oh, the Saurito.
130 mile version.
Yeah.
I love that. So what did you learn and do differently from last year to this year? Was there anything that happened last year or you decided to kind of update?
Yeah. making sure it doesn't go through places where there's going to be no trespassing.
Okay.
You can go through an area, it turns out, many times by yourself, and you're like, never have a problem. You're like, okay, no signs here. Looks like this is a public road. Okay. And then suddenly you have like 8 people go there at once, and suddenly like,
somebody shows up with a shotgun.
yeah. They're like, who are all these people, or whatever? And you get suddenly like, oh, okay, well, apparently we can't bike there. Okay, this is like, it's like you can test it. You think you're testing it by riding it through yourself, but it's like, oh, the actual test is like send a dozen people through there and see what happens.
Right.
Yeah, so doing some reroutes of that. Not a whole lot else too different for this year. This is, yeah. I think having that smaller option is nice for people who want like a more of an overnight quick thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice to have that. You could even 130 miles, 5,800 feet of climbing. You could knock that out in a day.
Yeah,
the faster people.
I think there'll be some who do so.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe better saying like what certain parts, where difficulties lay. And I feel like we did a pretty good job of like, okay, this part's going to be rough, but like still, people are surprised, and you're like, okay, we gotta maybe say that a little more. Yeah, I'm all about like letting people know what the challenges are going to be.
Mm-hmm. Like, don't drink the water out of that one Pina Blanca lake, right? Because of mercury contamination.
Yeah. We did say that.
Yeah. I just noticed that on the ride with GPS when I was... what is the deal? I mean, is it like...
I think it's mining.
Mining, yeah. Because that whole west area...
Yeah, I mean, that's near where you grew up then. Yeah, kind of... I mean, not in like the... more of that other mine, the Sierrita mine.
Yes,
yeah.
The copper mine.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's mining is the cause of that one down there. Yeah, the lake's full of mercury, so...
Yikes.
Yeah, even though it's like the one bit of like real surface water kind of on course. There's a lot of cattle tanks.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be good with cattle tanks. Pretty good cattle tanks, in my opinion. Yeah, and other than that, you're filling up in stores along the route. Yeah.
The Pilot, right? Isn't it a Pilot at the 24-hour gas station on the interstate that you cross about halfway through the route, it looks like?
Yeah, that's kind of like a good reassess point. Yeah, where you cross over the freeway and get some 24-hour stuff and like there's like a Wendy's or McDonald's or something. Yeah. Over there. Yeah.
What kind of bike would you recommend? What would be the ideal bike for the course?
Yeah, I think like a gravel bike with big tires, like 2.2-inch tires with a suspension fork would be, I think, the best option. Like I have not done the whole thing in one go. I'm planning to sometime in the spring, and I think I'm going to do it on the Gila with 2.2s, or maybe like 2.1, 2.2, and like a 40 mil gravel fork on it. Because there's a lot of, I mean, it's not very climby for one. It's like 210 miles with like 18,000 feet or something, depending on what device is measuring it. And it's like generally pretty smooth, but there's definitely some chunky bits in there. Yeah, hardtail I think would also be great. If I were to decide between if I had to decide a gravel bike with like 45 mil tires and a hardtail, I'd definitely do it on a hardtail. But a lot of people finished it on a gravel bike, like classic, 40 to 45 mil gravel bike last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit of suffer.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I did ride across Arizona, I did it on a mountain bike. I was happy about that choice towards the end. You know, you're okay. It's okay the first day on these sort of bikes, but you get 2 days in, and everything just accumulates. You know, especially on the hands.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I just got a Chaparral Angelus.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's sort of a semi-boutique company. They contacted me out of Claremont, California. And they're making one frame, and it is a drop bar mountain bike, basically.
Okay.
Very comfortable. I'm sort of like demoing it, but I'm going to buy it. I've decided I'm going to buy it. But it's like my Epic Evo and my Revel Rover had a child, had a little bike child, and it came out. And it's heavier. It's like 26 pounds.
Yeah.
It's titanium.
Oh, nice.
But I haven't been back on a titanium bike in a few years. Titanium mountain bike. But so it's got like mountain bike geometry, but gravel drop bars that are like way up here. It kind of feels like you're driving a like a gravel bike monster truck sort of situation going on. And capacity for 2.4, clearance for 2.4 tires. And I'm going to ride it on SAUER.
That sounds ideal. Yeah.
It's fast. I mean, it like, and it's got a 100 mil fork on it, mountain bike fork. So it's like built around this 100 mil mountain bike fork. So it's capable. Yeah. Sort of like an adventure, do it all sort of bike. The Rover just wasn't, yes, it was a gravel bike built by mountain bike people, but it just was still too racy for me. It was not comfortable a couple days in.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds kind of similar, to like, kind of the Cutthroat I used to ride was on. I definitely like more of that racy geometry, but again, it's like that changes several days in. Often you're like, oh, suddenly like my hips cannot rotate forward quite as much as they used to, and having weight spread a little differently can be nice. I mean, the route is definitely like on the SAUER route. We were very cognizant of the fact that the Arizona Trail exists. That like there is a mountain bike race that's like out here, and it's one of the biggest bikepacking races in the world. Like we don't need to go into that territory. Let's try and make it more of a gravelly thing. Yeah. Just so it is like a different option. So like there's the Saurito is a little bit of single track. The other one does not even have single track. Really, I don't think so at all. I think something like that is great. Are you an aero bar guy?
Yeah, I can't quite get comfortable in them yet.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's positioning, and I just haven't evolved. I haven't spent enough time, and they always seem like not up high enough and back far enough. So I've been trying to use like the Fred bar the Fred bar attachment to bring them up and back a little bit. Yeah. That it's just like a bar that attaches to your stem, basically.
Is that like it gives you another kind of like flat mount? Okay, like another bar.
Yeah, actually it attaches to the head tube that comes up.
Okay, cool.
As long as you have enough head tube to bite into.
Yeah, keeps it out of the way.
Yeah, and it just brings it kind of up and back a little bit.
Yeah.
I put that on the Epic Evo with the aero bars. I'm just kind of now getting into positioning, and I did some online or bike fitting. Have you done a
I've done a couple bike fits, been very helpful.
Okay, tell me about that.
Both of them were, I think, birthday gifts from my dad. Just like you get on bring your bike in, and they put you on the machine, and you sit there and ride, and they look at you, and usually been pretty fine adjustments. Like I've had my saddle height usually pretty good, but the one I did, that was like spring of 2024. They lowered my saddle height by like an inch.
Same experience.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's why my Achilles tendon has been very unhappy
100%,
for a year.
Dude. 100%. And I think many people are riding with their saddles too high.
Yeah.
Because it looks pretty cool when the saddle's way up there.
It does.
But I got stumpy legs, so it doesn't work too well.
Sure. Yeah. Like, what's your proportions of like, what's your body proportions?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So it can be very handy.
Do they put your bike on their machine?
Yeah. Okay. They take off, I think, the rear wheel. Yeah.
And they put on some like a modified bike trainer looking situation, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just sit there, and it can take like an hour or more, and once they're done it, let's say if you want to try new saddles, they'll just be like, all right, like here's like 5 different saddles, let's throw them all on there.
Cool.
Even if there's different, usually like gradations of it. I've done it at Tucson Endurance Performance Center. I forget the guy's name I did it with, but there's like different levels of it depending on how much you pay. And like there's a certain level they put you on this rig, which I've heard some things about it maybe not being ideal, but it's like this weird looking bike thing that like every single position on the bike can just be moved by like unscrewing a thing and like moving it and then screwing it back in. So it's like, okay, we can put the bars like different widths, different lengths. You can put the seat this way and that way and tilt it this way and that way just like very easily. So you can just kind of just like fine tune it. And then, okay, measure everything that's on this. Okay, now let's put that onto your bike and now try it here.
Right.
It's just like a way of making lots of little adjustments very easily.
Rather than having to change your stem like 5 times.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like
Right,
put on
I
different
see.
stems. Yeah.
Interesting. Did they adjust your cleat position at all?
Yes.
What did they do with that?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
Oh, part of it was like making sure that it is on at just the right angle. It's like looking at how your foot is pedaling and where your knee is over your heel as you're pedaling, and then adjusting the the side to side location and also the angle, and then like using this device that you put onto the shoe that like kind of tells you exactly what the angle is when you're putting the cleat on, so like exactly what you're getting. So it's like you're not eyeballing any of it. Which I should probably do that again. And a cleat fitting's like $30 or something. Because like you wear through cleats and you have to put on different ones and
shoes.
Yeah,
Change
yeah.
shoes and it changes the whole situation. That's really interesting.
But really, I've just found like my fit has definitely changed. I've like gone on different bikes since I last had a fit, and I think one thing, just don't change your fit drastically. Unless it's like done professionally, and like slowly build up to riding more. I think like those things are very important for avoiding injury. So like, obviously if your saddle height's an inch too high, you're probably gonna have issues. But like, I had been riding a long time with my saddle height too high, and I hadn't had issues because I'd like slowly ramped up my training to doing an ultra.
Yeah.
And just kept that fit consistent. But then I ran into issues during a race where I forget why exactly, but I kind of like ramped up my training, I think, too fast. This is before I was working with a coach. So yeah, I think those things are really important as well, in addition to just like getting the right fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about with the aero bars? Would they fit you with those, or is that something
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They move my aero bars a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I found like I have wide shoulders, and so like it's hard for me to get the aero bars wide enough a lot of the time. That's kind of like my main thing that's like hard for me with aero bars. Because I'm like tucking my shoulders in, that kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just getting the weight off my hands is so handy. Like getting to be able to rest on the forearm things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you can set it up in a way that's comfy, I think aero bars are like, no matter how fast you're trying to go, I think just really helpful if you're trying to go long.
Yeah. So you pretty much run them on every ultra you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm too cheap to cough up the cash for the in-person bike fitting.
Reasonable. Yeah, it's a lot.
So I tried an intermediary thing, and it was an online bike fitting called My Velo Fit. I paid them. They're not like a sponsor or anything, but because I wanted to just get a fitting across all of my bikes and kind of see what was, I figured $75 for a year, and you can have unlimited fits. If it doesn't work out, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. It's very
That's
interesting.
a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's not bad. You just film yourself. You like set your bike up on the trainer, and you film yourself, and you upload it to their website, and then it uses AI to map your knee angle, and it does a whole thing with your movement, your kinetic movement and everything, and then it gives you a recommendation of the 4 things. It cannot do the cleats. That's why I asked about the cleats, because it's only getting the one angle, right?
Yeah.
So it can't do any. That's one big downside on
Which
it.
it only films one side.
Yeah, you just film your drive side.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then it's obviously a professional bike fitter is going to be way better, but also you're going to be spending more money. I was just trying to get some preliminary, because I've had like a chronic pain in the left side that's been kind of chronic since 2019. And I think, long story short, I think it's a piriformis overuse injury, which is one of the rotational muscles near your glute. So it's made for the, outward rotation of your legs. And so runners and cyclists get piriformis syndrome often because they're just constantly moving forward. And so
it's like an imbalance.
Yeah. Well, and so, and I got an MRI, and I went an x-rays and stuff early on to see if there was something more serious happening, or a tear or whatever. And they were like, nope, you're fine. Just keep pushing through it. And I was like, okay. So what's happening is, and I think this is my conclusion anecdotally, is because my seat positions were 10 millimeters too high. Like you said, an inch,
Yeah, and yours was even much less.
Yeah, I mean, it was like lower it by 10, lower it by 10. It kept telling me to lower it.
Yeah.
And I ended up lowering it and then kind of raising it back up a little bit. But I came down to what I thought felt very strange and very low at first because I've been riding so high
that's
up.
the same my experience. First couple of days, I was like, feels so bad.
And my legs were pissed at me.
Yeah. I was like, this is more glute use. Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of new muscles there.
Yeah, right.
Particularly the inside of my thighs on the last AES race. They blew up, dude. Because my seat was I was cramping so bad on it just because my legs were just mad at me for never using them and then expecting this performance out of them.
Your body's got to be used to that style. Yeah.
That positioning. It was incredible how much it made a difference. So I lowered the seat and, I'm thinking what's happening is I'm overextending that piriformis muscle on every pedal stroke.
Right.
And it's basically inflaming. And then what it's doing is it's pushing against, it sits right on top of the sciatic nerve. And so it was pushing against the sciatic nerve and then just sending this pain down the side of my leg.
Fun.
Now, this also was combined with, in 2019, my job requirements changed a little bit, and I spent a lot more time sitting in an office chair and less time standing and working on a floor, like on a production floor, moving around and standing up all day long. I just started to sit. And then from 2020 to 2025, you can see I just started sitting 8 hours a day, and I started increasing all of my cycling, like significantly increasing the volume I'm put on cycling with a seat that's too high. So all of this combined, created this sort of overuse piriformis injury. And the light bulb moment went off when I did the bike fitting, and it was like, oh, this is probably kind of what. So I switched. Yeah. I switched the seats. I also went to a standing desk at work, so I stand all day basically.
Yeah,
now.
that's helpful.
Totally, because it happens when I sit for too long, and then PT and all that stuff, and I'm trying to manage it without any sort of other like shots, cortisone shots, or anything like that. But yeah, so it was an interesting journey down the bike fitting. Down the bike fitting path.
So has it come back? Have you had that issue since then?
Well, so it's always kind of just there. I would say it's at a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
And before it was at a 3 or a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It comes in waves, so I'll do a big event, and then like the week after the event, it'll be a lot of pain, and then it'll kind of go away after that. So
better than during the event.
It never happens during an event.
That's good.
Never happens. So let's. So you have a nutritionist and a coach, is that right?
So I was working with a nutritionist for a while. I haven't met with her in a while. It's kind of like So this is kind of what I got on a year ago. Or a little over a year ago. I was trying to get I forget why exactly I wanted to work with a coach. Nutritionist was largely because turns out I had it covered through my work health insurance. So I was like, well, I might as well do this.
Sweet.
It was through Berry Street, this online, like through an app thing. The nutritionist, it was kind of like, she was very helpful, did things for a while, and it was kind of like get you to a point of you kind of know what you're doing, and then you don't really need to meet with them anymore.
Right.
I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Were you going to ask something?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I wanted to kind of dive in on the tips they gave you and how you got to where you are with the high carbs and...
Yeah. I went through this coaching service called CTS. They're based in Colorado Springs, which was recommended from my friend Justin Krieger, who's an awesome coach in his own regard. Went through someone and then got someone else who I kind of meshed with better. His name's Jason Siegel, but not that Jason Siegel.
Okay.
He's been super, super handy. We meet or like have a phone call for like an hour every week, which is super handy. He's just very communicative and supportive and kind of like talk through all parts of the process with me. One thing, it's like, I'm not a great organizer. I am like not good with, like, if I don't have a Google Calendar, my life falls completely into shambles. And it's one super helpful thing about having a coach is that it's like having an assistant who plans out like schedules for you. You kind of tell them like, okay, here's my availability. It's like, okay, you're going to do these things. It's just super calming for me to just be like, okay, like here's the things I'm going to do this week. I'm not kind of waking up every day like, what am I going to do today? I don't know. It just like, it keeps me, like having that rhythm is really good for me mentally to kind of like, you know, that structure.
Right.
Yeah. Is like good for my brain. And definitely results have been there. Yeah, like a lot of it is just, you know, it's like polarizing it. So making it so like you rest when you need to rest and like ride a lot when you need to ride and like realizing, oh, how hard you actually do need to ride, like do intervals. Like for me before it was like, oh, like do a hard day once or twice a week. You know, before I had a coach, it was like, and now I kind of know like actually what I need to do for that. I was like, I was doing nothing. I was doing like no intensity until, you know, I started using a coach. Yeah, it's been very handy.
Do you go through interval training session, like weeks of interval training and then weeks of high volume? Does it kind of scale that way? And then do you report back kind of how you feel? And then will he adjust?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the adjustment, you know, that's what's really helpful about actually getting to meet every week. You know, I'll tell him kind of how it went and like he'll make an assessment on where I kind of need to go from there. But also, you know, now like every workout, you know, I'll give a report at the end, like how did I feel? Like here's kind of notes on it. Here's how much I ate. Here's how much I drank. And it's like, yeah, it's all, you know, it's constant feedback into it. But, you know, so usually I will do 2 days a week of intervals and then there's volume on top of that. So like the kind of the basic structure that been using with him is, you know, say a week is starting on Monday, it'll be Monday, Tuesday, or like Monday's a rest day, Tuesday's a recovery day, so a short ride of like low intensity. Wednesday, do intervals. Thursday, do intervals. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, do volume. So just like an endurance ride. And you know, if I'm like, and it kind of depends like where I'm at in training of how much the volume is going to be. But like the amount of intensity is pretty much the same every week. But you know, there'll be, you know, like during last summer, I was doing like 35, 40-hour weeks where, you know, that second intensity day, it'll be do the intervals and then ride for 4 to 6 hours afterwards. And then, you know, ride for 6 hours the next 3 days. But still with like 2 mostly easy days. But like, you know, I'm coming off of having a off season of like, you know, no assigned training and pretty much not riding for 2 weeks around Thanksgiving. And so kind of like we're now slowly building back up into that. So I've been doing like 18 hours a week. And yeah, yeah, and it also, of course, depends on what my availability is. Right now, I'm not working a lot. I'm currently interviewing, trying to find jobs for till going to Europe next year. But yeah, so depends on, you know, obviously availability. Yeah.
How do you taper into a race?
Usually, what do you do? Usually, like, kind of keep most of the intensity, maybe like do shorter intervals the week of, like maybe 5 days before a race or something. Like just do a little bit of intensity, but not like the same amount. Like, you know, yesterday I did, you know, 3 times 25 minutes at like, I don't know, 90% of threshold or something. Like a sweet spot workout. And it would be, you know, in the week before a race, I'd do, I don't know, 3 sets of 5 minutes of that or something. And then if it's a longer race, usually kind of keep the volume a bit up, so that you don't like I don't really understand a lot of why I'm actually doing what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, you're not the coach.
Right, exactly. I don't have to know. But like I found like if you drop off, and you rest too much before an event,
Yeah.
you come in like really feeling flat, and like that's what happened to me last year in Doom for various logistical reasons. But like, yeah, kind of keeping up, some volume. Maybe the week of leading up to an event, I might ride like 15 hours or something, and then but like mostly lower intensity, and then like the day before a race, usually like a little kind of shakeout. That's like he has me do like it's like 6 sets of like 10 seconds where you just do as fast of a cadence as you can. So you're trying up to like 150 RPM. Naturally that's going to be at a pretty high power, but like it utilizes a lot of different muscles in your legs. It kind of like wakes them all up.
Right.
And then I might do a little teeny bit of that like right before a race if it's something that is going to be intense in the beginning, like 100-mile gravel race or like Unbound XL or Gravel World's Long Voyage.
What is your FTP?
Like 355.
Oh, bro.
I'm like 175 pounds ish.
No.
Which is
Dude.
Not. It's like there's definitely a lot of ultra racers who are definitely more than that. But there's also some I've been told have much lower than that. I think I don't know how much it matters for ultra racing.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's yeah. You got some quads on you, I can tell you that right now. Well, I think I've seen a couple of your Strava rides up Mount Lemmon, and you were holding like 350 for a good bit of time up Mount Lemmon.
Someone's been stalking my Strava.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you think I get ideas for the podcast?
I think I've got some natural ability. I think been training seriously for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that can increase more. That's kind of what gives me like excitement is like, okay, this is already like, that's okay. Like 355 for my weight. That's like, I think I looked at like this chart and that was like kind of like Cat 1, Cat 2 kind of area.
Yeah.
But like there's like maybe some potential there. So it's like exciting to like, okay, maybe I have some room for growth, and like it makes you feel less silly for devoting so much time and energy into this.
Totally. Did you do anything as a child that you think maybe helped build that? Like any kind of sports or anything that?
Yeah, I played football growing up. Well, let's see. Like growing up until before high school, I just played soccer and I didn't really like it. And I played some baseball too, but I was like the kid out in the outfield who was like picking daisies and, gets
Staring
yelled
at the
out.
sky.
Yeah. Gets yelled out when like the ball lands near me and they're like, come on. I just wanted to run around outside. I like the structure was not, I was not about it, but, I got into football in high school. That was kind of like, that was a lot more going on for my ADHD brain and like the contact and the camaraderie and strategy, and the intensity. And I wasn't very good at football. I like hardly played, so my brain is probably in better shape than it could be. But also did wrestling and I did track for a couple of years. I definitely really liked that. Football would be like 3-hour practice at the end of school every day. You have practice on the weekends, you have games on the weekends, you're in the weight room, 5 days a week during the off season, you're coming to the weight room 4 days a week during the summer. Like I like that like level of commitment and like constantly working on this thing and being tired, at the end of the day. Like I found that was like really good for me.
Yeah.
And then kind of fell out of it a bit in college. I played Ultimate Frisbee in college as like a club team, which is fun. I love Ultimate, such a fun team sport. I wasn't taking it that seriously. And then was into hiking, was into rock climbing, kind of landed on bikes in like 2020, 2021.
Okay. COVID era.
Yep. Yeah. My money that was going to be PCT money ended up being BioGravel bike money.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then never looked back.
And then you realized, and I got something here. I could parlay into something else. You do have that natural ability, I think. I think you can only train to get an FT.
Yeah.
You can only train so hard
totally.
to get an FTP of 350. I mean, I was able to move mine from like 230 to 270 or 280 by actively trying to make it stronger.
That's huge.
Yeah, and that's it though. I hit a wall after
Yeah.
that. That's it. I'm done.
I mean, I've been at, like, when I first did a test a year ago, it was 355.
Yeah.
So like it's been the same.
Right. You just have the cardiovascular system and the musculature to be able to put that kind of power for that long.
Yeah, like, you know, you can only train that so much.
Yeah.
And then even like the shorter stuff, like I did for the first time, like a 1 minute, a 30-second, and a 5-minute test. Turns out those were even better than the 20-minute test, which I'm like, okay, great. This like doesn't really apply to bikepacking at all.
Right.
But like, okay, I have like a good amount of natural ability, like even more so in that. And it's like, yeah, that's not something that I train for. It's just like you get dealt this card or you don't.
Right.
And yeah, just kind of like, oh, okay, like maybe I have something that I'm blessed with here. May as well try and do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a bike trainer? Do you use a bike trainer? Like
indoor?
Yeah, like an indoor trainer.
I don't. I mean, because I live in Tucson, so you know,
What do you do in the summers?
See, that's why I assume we'll probably not live in Tucson.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big heat guy, but I would like to live in Vermont in a year from now. Trying to make that happen.
Are you from Vermont?
No, so I grew up in Seattle.
Okay.
My mom lives in Vermont now. And before she moved out there, I'd spent a summer there and been like, Vermont is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to live here in the future. And then my mom moved there, and I'm like, okay, well, this seems like the move. And so, yeah, I've been spending some bits of summer out there since she's moved there a few years ago, and yeah, it's really feeling like a place I wanna live. So yeah, like obviously, if I'm there in the wintertime, there's gonna have to be some trainer time. Right. Yeah.
Right.
But I would love to keep coming down here for a few months out of the year. That would be my ideal life, is like fly down for January, February, March, maybe. But yeah, I've used a trainer once, and it was like, it felt so wrong. It was just like, I'm not moving. This is like horrible. Like suddenly it was like, oh, cycling is painful. And in a way, like obviously, yeah, like it is painful, but it's like, it's beautiful. And suddenly like it lost that. I don't know. I thought I was going to be fine because I really enjoy like, the athletic sport. Like here's this physical challenge bit of cycling.
Yeah.
But suddenly you're not moving, and it was like, this is weird.
Yeah. I call it the idea machine.
Interesting.
The trainer, the bike trainer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of why I cycle, and maybe you're the same way, is it's almost meditative when I'm constantly engaged in something, right? Mountain biking, you're engaged in the threat of flying off and hitting your head and knocking your teeth out. So you have to be like fully present in the moment. But when you're doing gravel riding or like big road climbs, you're kind of engaged in that your blood flow, you're heightened. You can't really think of anything else. I've tried on bikepacking races to ponder great ideas or think about work problems or whatever, and it just never happens because there's something happening, right, where I can't think about that stuff. But on the bike trainer, it's a completely different experience. If I need to like think about like topics for the podcast, for example, I'll just sit on the bike trainer for an hour and a half, and like 30 ideas will pop in my head.
Okay.
Right. And half of them are garbage. They're just dopamine high nonsense that really I was just overconfident. But then there's a few nuggets in there usually. It's the strangest thing, dude. It doesn't happen anywhere else any other time. But on the bike trainer. And I think it's just because of the boredom.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
For some reason, the cardiovascular part of it doesn't really, I guess I know I'm safe and I know nothing's going to happen. So I can let my mind kind of go where it needs to go. So it's just an interesting observation I've found on the bike trainer, because I use it in the wintertime in Flagstaff. But this winter's been pretty good. So
yeah. It's been warm. Yeah, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. That I'm gonna try and keep that in mind when eventually in the future I'm gonna have to do a little bit more of it. I'm definitely somewhere I can sometimes get into that space while I'm riding, like outside. But yeah, it's a lot of the kind of more that head empty, just like I'm vibing and listening to music, or like I can like tune into a podcast pretty good on the bike. I think my ADHD brain, like, it can sometimes focus better on things when there is like a slight thing to be distracted by, or like that I'm just like, yeah, if I'm sitting in a white quiet room, it'll be harder for me to focus. If I'm sitting in a room that has like a little bit of things in the background, it kind of like, I don't know, helps me kind of to focus in some way. So I feel like biking kind of does that to me a bit.
Yeah.
Where I can like focus on thinking about something. If it's not too technical, like I'll have those like string of what feel like great ideas in the moment, but are actually not great ideas. Like while I'm out on, especially like going up a climb, you know.
Yeah.
And you're just you know, one pedal after another. Yeah, and you get that like that high of you know, your cardiovascular system going, and as you're saying earlier, it was like it's kind of like having a drink or two, and you get that kind of like confidence of thought and speaking, maybe. Where you're like, oh, this is a great idea, like, oh, what a great thought I've had, and you're like, oh, this is a dumb idea.
Right, but you don't actually execute on the stupid ideas like when you're drunk. Like, it's like being drunk and having the confidence, but you don't have any of the consequences. Most times.
But you get that like lack of inhibition, which is cool.
Right. And there's got to be something to that for when our tribal ancestors were pursuing animals,
definitely,
in a hunting situation, and they were at a heightened state and they needed that confidence. Right.
You got to try and jump over this chasm to grab the gazelle or whatever.
Right. Exactly. I mean, this has to be some sort of genetic inherited thing, right, that makes us confident when our dopamine is way up, and our adrenaline too. But anyway, so it makes for some interesting ideas. You are able to consume 120 to 150 grams of carbs per hour. Is that real?
Yeah. I was riding over here. I was at 150 grams an hour.
Dude. That's what, 500 or 600 calories per hour?
Yeah, 600 calories. About, if it's all from carbs. Yeah.
Oh.
I think I have a strong gut.
Did you have to train that?
A bit, for sure. When I like started tracking it more, definitely, took some time to get up to that. But I think I also just, I've always been a fan of eating food, as I think many of us are, but like, had an ability to like, put away a lot of food. And, a bikepacking race and just like endurance riding in general is like a, eating contest.
Yeah.
So like that gives me a leg up. But it's also just like something I like find joy in. And I can often do it with just like candy and Rice Krispies, but like, when the going gets tough, that's when I found like having gels and drink mix is really handy. So I've fallen in love with Carbs Fuel and like their big 50 gram carb gels that are like also do not break the bank have been very handy for me.
Yeah, they're like $2 or $2.50 per 50 grams, I think.
Yeah, $2.
If you buy them in the big pack.
Yeah. But yeah, I can do just like sugar pretty well. For like most of my riding, I'll just be going around doing, my rhythm is every 5 minutes you have about 10 gram of carb piece of candy or 2 or 3 depending on the size of the pieces. And for that, I'll just like get whatever cheap stuff I can get at Kroger, whatever's on sale of gummies. And then every 15 minutes have a Rice Krispie treat. Usually you can get the box of 40 for like $10. So that's, I haven't done the math on what that whole, amount is. But anyway, if I do that, I get to 145-ish grams of carbs an hour. And so that's kind of like my standard going along. And if going gets tough, if my stomach's not really doing well, or if I'm doing intervals or obviously in races, then I'll like use gels. And sometimes bring that down to like 120. Or like if I'm like in an ultra race, I'm usually like more around like the 120 after a while per hour mark.
Yeah. Dude, it's a lot. I tried 300 per hour one time and I got sick. 300 calories.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. No. That'd be what, 1,200 calories?
You'd have to be constantly chewing.
Right. What do you eat outside of racing? Do you have kind of a regimented diet? Do you lean towards certain types of foods?
Not very regimented, but I kind of eat trash. I eat. I will go to dumpsters. I will get things I find on the ground.
Okay.
I am kind of the trash receptacle at the house where like whatever food my roommates don't want to finish, I'll probably eat that. So this allows me to keep my expenses low.
Right. Focus on racing.
Yeah, and also, I think I think it maybe helps train the gut in a different way. But yeah, I know I ate a lot of vegetables. I ate a lot of oats. I ate a lot of Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
A lot of sardines. Love sardines. A lot of rice and making a lot of dal, like Indian lentil dal.
Okay.
That's kind of a staple for me. Is just like I go to this great Indian grocery store in Tucson called India Dukan, and you get like the big thing of like, 5 pounds of urad dal, which dal just means a split bean. You take a bean, you split it, it becomes dal, so they cook faster.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll like cook up a big bunch of that, and then it's like my meal. That's kind of like maybe the one thing I have, and I'll like maybe add in something else. I'll saute up some cabbage or whatever, or bake some squash or and then make a lot of sauerkraut. So the sour route is spelled like SAUER, the acronym like sauerkraut, because the idea is that throughout the race you start as a cabbage and everyone gets a cabbage pendant, and then at the end, once you've fermented into sauerkraut through the ultra process, but not ultra processed, but through the process of doing this experience, you get fermented.
Yeah.
And you get a little homemade thing of sauerkraut. So I make sauerkraut and eat a lot of that. I think having lots of, the probiotics is fermented things is good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing, we were talking earlier before we started about the Greek yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
Just, dude, Greek yogurt and cottage cheese. So much protein.
Oh, yeah,
in
a lot
that
of cottage
stuff,
cheese, yeah.
Because I asked ChatGPT what's the cheapest way for me to get as much protein as possible. And it was...
Yeah, I'm curious.
It was Greek yogurt. Cottage cheese was number one.
Okay,
like per whatever the ratio for dollar for protein consumption. And then it was like canned chicken.
Yep. Canned tuna.
Yeah. You got to watch out for the mercury, of course, with the
right.
tuna, with over-consuming that.
Yep.
Lentils, that was one that was pretty high in protein, and black beans were one of the highest beans in protein.
Interesting.
At least the cheapest way to get it.
Yeah.
If you just eat meat all the time, you're going to get plenty of protein, but you're also going to be broke.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot of that, trying to up the protein. My wife did a nutritionist for a while. Used a nutritionist, and they were just like more protein, and so I've been trying that. I guess I should go, but I'm just doing I just get secondhand information from whatever her coach or her nutritionist that's not catered to me at all.
Yeah. The main getting more protein, I feel like that is kind of one of the main things I got from a nutritionist is she would sometimes give me specific meals, but a lot of it was the feedback she'd give me is one thing I tell her hey, I felt this happened during a race, and she'd be like, well, it's probably because you had Nutella before your race and that had too much fat in it or whatever. Real quick aside, I think a lot of people in bikepacking races try to consume more fat and protein than I think they should. And I've been really going hard on just the eat carbs during races thing, which I think has been helpful. I think for a while I've been just eating a lot of food and fiber, which is I can put it'll go into my body and I'll be happy, and then it'll not be processed. It'll just end up in a gas station bathroom.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of been my process a bit, is like trying to or like focus in on just like carbs during a race, and maybe like eat a bunch of protein at the end of the day, eat a little bit throughout the day, but like mostly focus on carbs. And the other thing that I think was really helpful from a nutritionist is kind of like telling her what my, she had me like recording all of my food for like a couple months, and it was kind of like, okay, give her all that, then she can kind of like give me general tips of like, you should maybe eat more of these things or whatever. But yeah, then it's like after that point, then it's like, okay, you're fine. You can just kind of go along with your life.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, more protein. That has kind of been the really big thing, trying to find that.
I think at a race for sure.
And just in general life. Yeah.
I tried on the Gunnison Loopy Loop. I did that bikepacking race this year. Actually, the night before, it's a funny side story. My wife and I showed up. We were night before. We went out to walk out of our hotel to go grab some dinner, and we see two bikepackers go by, and I'm like, I think I know one of those guys. But I'm like, those don't look like the bikes for Gunnison Loopy Loop. I'm not sure. And I was like, maybe I'll see them at the start. Didn't see them at the start. And then I look a couple days later on Strava, and it's you.
Oh.
And Ezra.
Oh my gosh.
That passed right in front of me.
Oh my goodness.
In Gunnison, Colorado.
That's so funny.
And you guys were doing some sort of tour, we
were just on our own little trip. That's so funny. I had no idea. I did know that it was like happening near there, and we saw some other bike packers. I think we're just out on a tour. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep. And but anyway, on the Gunnison Loopy Loop, I tried to use only carbs, the gels. I brought only carbs for that entire thing. And I was trying to do 1 packet per hour for like 40 hours.
Yeah.
So that would be 50 grams per hour.
Yeah.
And because it worked really well on I did a ride run sort of thing, like a double, and it worked really well on that. And I was like, I'm gonna do it on Gunnison. Yeah. And it wasn't working so well deeper into the second day, just doing that. I should have brought some variety, I think.
You were craving like real kind of food, or
definitely.
Real-ish.
By the second or third day, or second night, third morning-ish, I was definitely like over it. I felt like they were pretty heavy. It was kind of a lot to carry around too. But I was all about it, because I was buying hundreds of dollars worth of carbs gels, and I was looking at like Morton versus carbs, and Morton is, $5 or $6 per 50 grams or per 40 grams. Yeah. And carbs gels are $2.50. I think it's $2.50. Basically half the price of the Mortons. Yeah. And worked for my stomach. Like, went down, no problem. And then they have the salt version, and then they have the caffeinated version also. But they were kind of a new company to the scene, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think they are. I don't know tons of their background. I know they're like, I don't know. They kind of have more like tech startup-y vibe to them. Yeah. In some ways. But yeah, they're new on the scene. So what did you, like, were you kind of like at a certain point, I can't eat these anymore? And you like, what did you switch to if that was the case?
Like during that race?
Yeah, during that race.
I switched to a giant pizza.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Pizza, see, I think, so here's for me, what is my ideal race strategy, like fueling strategy. If I had someone, as a crew the whole time, it would be carbs fuel gels, like homemade drink mix. There's just one I make. It's just, it's pretty much what's in everything. And maltodextrin, fructose, glucose, and electrolytes. Yeah. Sometimes just having pure water. Sometimes having like root beer. Like some various things like for the drinks is nice. But like other than that, carbs, fuel, and pizza. Like pizza is just I'm always craving it. Yeah. Like it's always gonna taste good. Yep. But I can't do too much of it because that'll be like too much for my stomach to try and ingest. But like, yeah, I like doing be most of my calories is from quick carbs, but then I'll supplement kind of like for my palate and just like for my stomach to feel okay a little bit. Be like, okay, I'll get a slice of pizza and I'm gonna like have a bite every hour, So I still like have that sensation of getting it and it's something to look forward to, but it's like if I smash it all, then it's like it's not gonna go well. Yeah.
I think I was also kind of I was having a rough time with the gels in particular, and it would have been any gels. I think it's the delivery method, because that was a very technical course, a lot of mountain biking. And so it was hard to eat. Like it's hard to eat gels when you're mountain biking.
Right. Yeah.
You have to stop. You can't eat them while you're riding like you can on a gravel course. You can like pop one in.
Oh, so you think it's easier to have like, so you have like a top tube bag that's just like full of gummies or whatever?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. And even then it's questionably sketchy when you're ripping single track.
Because you might be dropping them all over the trail.
Well, yeah, but like it's harder to do the thing. And also it was really cold that night.
Okay.
And so we had gloves on. I had gloves on and I couldn't feel my hands or my feet. So it was just difficult to eat in general. It was difficult to eat. I remember Bodie was like, man, it is really hard. I was riding with him for a while and he said, it's really hard to eat when it's cold. Like you just can't do what you need to do when it's that cold because you have gloves on. And
it's like the logistics of getting the thing into your mouth is harder.
Everything is harder.
Yeah.
When it's cold. And so I think maybe those made it. Everything was wet. Also, my feet were completely destroyed, just raw and destroyed.
It sounds just rough in general.
It was. It was a difficult race for sure.
Yeah, the race looks
classic,
very hard.
like Hefe style. I mean, it was like pre-trench foot. My feet were starting to really go from being wet for too long.
Yeah.
Sort of situation. So, but the time before that, the gels worked really, really, really well, and I was like stoked on it. So I think that was part of the contribution to it, and I don't know. Now I'm like kind of switching back and forth, I think, between the two. So, will you tell me about this? Can you tell me about this Mogollon Rim route that you are?
Oh yeah.
That I heard that you're developing.
Yeah. So the route is I had submitted it to bikepacking.com and I think they're hopefully looking it over and we'll see if they want to publish it. But yeah, so there's the Mogollon Rim, which you're very familiar with. Is a feature in the central Arizona where there's, it's a cool cliff. There's a lot of pine trees. Largest contiguous ponderosa pine forest in the world. And yeah, really cool riding around there. The Arizona Trail goes through there. The Pinions and Pines gone through there many times. The Verde Valley Randonnée doesn't really go through there, but almost. It hasn't had a bikepacking route like bikepacking.com bikepacking route or elsewhere that I've seen in that area. And I've spent a lot of time working there, working on the Highline Trail, which is now a 62-mile long ribbon of single track that goes kind of along the base of the Mogollon Rim, like along the base of this big cliff. It was restored with a lot of Forest Service money over the last few years, and the organization I'm part of was part of that restoration process, along with a lot of different trail building organizations. And yeah, it's now like an amazing 62 miles of like blue, some like blue-black, maybe single track, with views along the whole way, crosses like 6 perennial streams. And it's like there's lots of roads that go up to it, a lot of like easy access to it. And so, yeah, I think it had like big potential for being a bikepacking route. And there's been, kind of the push from like the Forest Service and the people who worked on this restoration project is like, okay, now the restoration is pretty much done. They're still working on it because there's always work to be done on a trail. But kind of the step in the process that they're at now is like, okay, we need to like advertise this trail because it's awesome. It's seriously like the nicest single track bit that I've ever ridden. I haven't ridden a ton of single track, but like that is my favorite because it's, I mean, for all the reasons I just mentioned, but like the fact it's just an unbroken single bit of single track that is all like in good shape, where you're like, you kind of just like going up and down a little bit with like expansive views the entire time. So, okay, I was like, okay, I am, you know, kind of in the bikepacking space. Maybe I can help with this by creating a bikepacking route on it. And so, yeah, spent some time like staying with some friends up in the town of Strawberry nearby there. Mac and Jen, who host a shuttle service out there, which is called Rim Country Mountain Bicycles, and also a mobile mechanic for people doing the AZT.
Shout out.
Yes, indeed. Wonderful people. Done some scouting around there this last summer, and then felt like, okay, ready to put together a route. And so, yeah, Marone Golfman and I went out over Halloween weekend and rode it. It's like 150 miles. It's kind of like 2 loops, kind of like a figure 8 sort of thing. So a lot of opportunities to do like shorter bits of it. Yeah, very mountain bikey, but like passes like 15 different good water sources, which is like rare. So the Mogollon Rim, you know, it's this east-west trending big cliff. It's the edge of the Colorado Plateau. So most of the weather in Arizona comes up from the south, comes up from the Gulf of California. And so when weather hits that big rim, this big escarpment, the clouds rise, and so they drop all their moisture. It's like a rain shadow. And so I'm sure you know all this, but so that area is like especially wet in Arizona, and so there's a lot of streams that come off of it. So which I think is something that makes it such a good opportunity for putting a bikepacking route there. Yeah, crosses, you know, Fossil Creek, right near the, like I think the biggest natural spring in Arizona. Really beautiful perennial big water. Yeah, and it's just, yeah, it's a cool area. It's a nice little town, Pine, Payson, Strawberry.
Yeah. Does it go as far east as Christopher Creek area?
Yeah, I think I put it to, actually no, I think not quite that far. I put it to Tonto Creek.
Okay.
So but like the trail keeps going a little further east than that, but I kind of want it to be like a nice spot where I kind of loop in well with other roads.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like the last like 15 miles of the trail to the east is not on the route, but that's where it goes out to Christopher Creek.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, another nice little town with a resupply.
And does it go up onto Rim Road? Or does it stay down below?
So it does go up onto the rim. It takes from the town of Strawberry, it takes the old kind of before the 260 highway was built, or I think it's still the 87 there. I think both at that point. Anyway, before that highway, it takes like that old road. So it's like there's this road that now is like pretty chunky, but it's got like this really really beautiful rock walls on it, like retaining walls.
Yeah.
So it takes that up to the rim. It doesn't go on the rim road, like the 300 road, but it takes some other just like little logging roads up there. That's kind of like the high point, like 8,000 feet. Yeah, and then works its way over to Camp Verde.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting to have a route out, an officially published route. I know there is an AES race I haven't done, an Arizona Endurance Series race, that's newish. That's Mogollon Mayhem or something.
Oh yeah, it does like the whole trail, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I missed it the last couple years, but it's only a couple years old.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was fun to sort of like explore that area for pinions for the last couple years, or not last year, but the 2 prior years.
Yeah, because they put it right on the Highline Trail. I think it was last year and the year before that too.
2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Highline. And then in 23 we did a giant 500. We did a 300 and a 500
Yes,
route.
yeah.
And the 500, you did it that year.
That was the year I scratched out of it, yeah.
So did most of the field in the 300 because the weather was so horrific.
Yeah.
It was muddy and we were pulling people off the trail. Well, Dana was. I was out getting stuck in it all. I was out moving 5 miles in 7 hours.
Oh my gosh.
It was unbelievable.
On the 500, right? Were you on the 500? Yeah.
Unbelievable. But that was the first year we said, let's go all the way down to, we're going to do a big couple of loops. Let's go into Prescott and let's go all the way on the rim and all the way down into Christopher Creek.
Yeah.
And just hit as much of northern Arizona as possible.
Yeah, huge.
And it was one of those years that lives in legends and lore, you know. Was that the only time you've done pinions?
It's the only time. I like to go back, especially now that I have a mountain bike.
Yeah.
I did it on a cutthroat, which is not a good idea. Again, this year I'm going to be in Greece, but definitely it's one I would like to come back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're cooking up a good one. We're cooking up a good one.
I
this
saw you
year.
have a longer one this year.
Mm-hmm.
You again, like, it keeps kind of stretching out a bit to. I mean, it's one of those ones where amazingly you have like a new route every single year.
That's all Dana. All credit to Dana. That was his idea from day one. You know, I came in in 22, I think, or 23 to help out.
Yeah.
And I think it's what makes it so unique and special is that
Totally.
And some people don't like it. Some people like it because it keeps it fresh, but some people like being able to master a route.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's again one of those things where it's nice to have a variety of things or, races that are available, it offers something different. I feel like I like in Arizona we have, we ride across Arizona that's pretty gravelly, maybe more like Tour Divide-y.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of similar to what the SAUER is in terms of like what kind of bike you want. And then we have the Arizona Trail, which is like super, tactical mountain biking. And then we have Pinions and Pines. That's like, I'd say like rough, deep trail to single track is kind of like where it's so like all kind of like cover different areas in different parts of the state. But also like, I think that highlights something that is so amazing about Arizona, and especially like if you live, on the rim, and where Flagstaff is, like you have access to such a wide variety of landscapes.
Yeah.
It's like, it kind of serves it to like be going to different places every year and make it like a bit of a surprise. 'Cause like you go somewhere new every single time. There's just so much you have access to from Flagstaff.
For sure. And the permutations of directions and areas are almost endless.
Yeah.
Because I've thought many times, how many times can we keep coming up with new stuff?
I'm sure it could go on infinitely. Yeah.
There's a lot of options and directions and connections, right? And then new trails come out every year. It's like, oh, well, we definitely want. There's a new trail called the Copper Chief. I think it's Copper Chief that's east of Mingus.
Okay.
So it kind of parallels. Do you know that road that parallels the east side of Mingus Mountain? There's a gravel road that parallels it. I don't know the number on it.
I'm blanking. Wait, I'm blanking on which one's Mingus.
Oh, Mingus. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, Mingus is the one. Yeah, west of it's
Cottonwood.
Yeah,
Jerome.
yeah, where Jerome is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for folks that don't know the area, it is Jerome is the historic mining town. Probably many people know Jerome now from Maynard, from Tool.
Yeah.
Because he has a bunch of businesses there. So this is the mountain, Mingus Mountain, which is just south of. It's kind of actually Jerome's kind of on Mingus Mountain at the beginning of it. And it's always been this sort of like epic summit that you have to do, whether it's on foot or by bike. It's a lot. Mingus Mountain's a lot.
Yeah.
And cool so anyway, there's a new trail on the east side of it. And so, we thought 100% we need to have that on there. So let's figure out how to build a route that goes to that one spot. And then the big thing we have in store here is we're going to include Prescott, a lot of Prescott. Because it was only on the 500 and only a few riders got to experience Prescott single track. So we made it a little longer, and we're going to feature a lot of Prescott though. So
lots of new stuff.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Dylan was laughing because I was putting on sunscreen here in the shade.
I would no judgment from me.
Yeah, that's. I think I like that. Y'all are always like highlighting some new things coming out. Like when the Highline was, getting good shape, that you're like, oh, okay, let's go put it on the Highline.
Right.
Yeah, and then of course, like Prescott, you've got like a whole nother like infinite amount of trails and stuff you can ride in Prescott.
And that stuff is so good.
Yeah,
It's so underrated, the Prescott riding.
I haven't done a lot. I would like to do more.
It's so
That's
good.
That's where Kurt Refsnyder resides, and it's ridden everything.
Yep. And El Frico, Jeff Hemper.
Oh, yeah.
And Holly Hovius Turbo. They also, they make some good bikepackers out of that area.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. We're still kind of in the works trying to figure that out, but man, it's a thing to, do a route and think like, I'm going to send how many people out on this? Were you nervous the first year you did SAUER? Like,
yeah, I'm like, someone's going to get mad. Someone's going to, I don't know, like get lost.
And did that materialize?
There's definitely like some feedback at the end of like, yeah, this part was whack. But, some of it you're like, well, as advertised, and like, we're going to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like hard to find the sweet spot of like, what is too hard or what is too weird. And like, I don't know, like at the end of the day, like someone out is going out and doing this, like they're the kind of person who's like ready for an adventure. They're ready for something to be a little weird, something to be not what they expected, something to be challenging. Like, you don't take it on without kind of that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's perfectly expected and curated, yeah. It's not a bikepacking race.
Yeah. So I think like it's like, you got the right people. Like,
you got to have some WTF moments in there for people.
Yeah. Yeah. We keep it interesting. And it as I've kind of, was like trying to put a route together, it's like you kind of realize that like, it's like, oh, so much of this is like not like intentional. It's just like, well, we had to get from here to here. We got to put it somewhere.
Right. 100%.
And it's like, it just kind of ends up what it is. And it's like some things, in the past, you're like, oh crap, you're cursing the race organizer as you're going through it or whatever. And I kind of more perspective is of just like, it's kind of like the route is what it is. Like it has to be what it has to be. It's like you're working with the tools you have, which is like this landscape. It's like you can only form it into whatever thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I take feedback with a grain of salt. Dana's a little more receptive to feedback than I am. What's your relationship like with Henley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. On that, does he since you guys are co-race directing, does he take on the lead on some parts?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's kind of, similar as how you do the Pinions and Pines. Like, so, I mean, Henley, I've been friends with him for a couple of years, and we kind of been, I think we have a similar perspective in that, like, we're people who, like, I think I'm like 10 years younger than him, but like, I maybe a little bit more racy than he is, but like, I think, he was also, I think, in more of my shoes when he was my age. But like, I don't know. I think we just kind of have a similar, like, just kind of like we're travelers of the world kind of perspective. I don't know. I'm just not going to put it into words, but like, I don't know. We have a similar outlook on like kind of how we want this race to look, which is very helpful. And like wanting it to be fun and like mainly a tool to like show off the cool area that, Southeast Arizona is. But yeah, I think he's been great to work with. I think we we'll handle different things. I don't know. There's not really that much of a hierarchy to it, but just kind of like we'll meet every once in a while and be like, hey, here's all the things we want to do. Let's just kind of like, okay, whoever gets to that one does that one, and just like, oh, I want to do these things, I'll do those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we each have like different connections. Let's see, like he's been in charge of the website. I've kind of done like, talking with Follow My Challenge and like done the sign up forms, and like we'll kind of split up the route scouting, which is kind of helpful to just be like, okay, we know we need to scout these bits, and it'll just be like, I'll text him like, hey, I have a free day tomorrow. Like, what should I go scout? And like, yeah, you should probably go do this bit. Okay, I'll go do that.
Do you guys scout water sources and stuff, like leading up to the Grand Depart?
Yeah, we did that last year. We kind of every water source I think we'd laid eyes on like within a month of before the Grand Depart, and definitely do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important, but like at the same, we definitely put out the caveat of like we cannot fully vouch for any of the like anything besides a store. Like
Right.
yeah, be ready for the desert.
But there's
but
a
like-
very good probability this
Yeah.
tank will have water at
like
this time.
yeah, on the course or on the wireless GPS, it'll say like we saw water here on this date. Like
Yeah.
that's what I can say for sure.
Right.
Or like I've seen it on these dates. I've seen it dry on these dates. And it's just like that's what it is.
And why did you decide to choose Follow My Challenge? Did you over like track leaders?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I think they both work.
Yeah. Okay.
Follow My Challenge has been really helpful. I mean, I haven't worked with Scott Morris, so I don't know. I'm sure he's also wonderful, but like Follow My Challenge has been super helpful, and they'll often like they're sending me reminders of like, hey, you should like send us this thing. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. And yeah, so yeah, it's worked. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Just curious because I think we, like VVR is, I think Follow My Challenge, and then we'll do.
Oh yeah,
I think it is.
And
Verde Valley Randonnée.
and yeah, and you do you do track leaders for Pins and Pines.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
why two different ones?
I don't know why, Dana. I mean, it was nice to see. I'm kind of a free market guy, so it was nice to see a little bit of competition in the space of tracking.
Yeah, right.
When Follow My Challenge first came out,
Yeah,
it can keep track leaders on their toes.
Right.
I've had a good relationship with Scott. When I first came into it, I kind of didn't know Scott. I wasn't part of the old sort of like bikepacking network that Scott was an integral part of. So I didn't have that relationship with him. Sometimes it would take a little while to get the rentals to us. Sort of, sometimes it became problematic. But that once Follow My Challenge kind of came into the ring, that got tightened up a little bit with track leaders. They kind of needed a little pressure
sure.
because they were
Yeah,
kind of had a monopoly.
They have a monopoly,
on it.
yeah.
And it's just run by some people that are kind of running it kind of as a side thing. I think Scott really, I don't know, it just hasn't been changed in a while. Really, the interface hasn't been really updated in a while.
yeah,
So I think I really like Scott, and I want to someday have him on the podcast here to talk about this sort of stuff. But the interactions I've had with him have been great. And after we kind of said, hey, we really need to make sure these trackers get here on this time, things have been pretty smooth sailing from there. But I was at the point where I was like, I'm willing to explore this other option if they're gonna like get all. There's already enough stresses when you're organizing something like this. I don't want to. I'm gonna lean
Sure,
into the company
yeah.
that's gonna like make it easier, right?
right.
It didn't come to that with Pinions. So yeah, but I think Follow My Challenge, I think they are a European-based company that have a U.S. branch that opened
Oh
up.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So, it's just, and I know, I think one of the other races, Unbound, maybe, used Follow My Challenge. Maybe.
I think they did. Yeah. And then there's a third one. There's the one that the mountain races use.
Okay.
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Map Progress, I think that's what it is.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's like some features on track leaders that are not on the others that I like the run rest and like the graph.
Yeah.
I mean, if the graph is like hard to move around on, it's like really hard to put it where you want it to be.
Yeah.
And like adjust the axes. But and I wish they would have more than just the top 10 on there. But like that is super handy.
Yeah.
And there's certain things have not carried over to like the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and this is complete speculation, I think Scott's probably, and I may be putting words in his mouth, but I'm speculating here. Let's just put it that way.
You got the caveat.
Seems like like he really wants somebody to just buy it, and like he developed this software that was revolutionary at the time.
Totally.
Right? And it's like, this is when a tech startup doesn't really make you a billionaire sort of situation. Right.
Right. Because it was unfortunately in bikepacking.
Right. Exactly. But it's not just in bikepacking. Cocodona uses track leaders. So
True.
there was like a huge, and that's a huge demand. They require, they mandate trackers for their events.
Huge event.
And there's thousands of people that do it. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, they got hit with a major order for trackers that they weren't expecting, most likely.
Wow. Yeah.
But it feels like just the lack of progression on the interface makes me feel like it kind of is in this stagnant state, and he wishes, if I were him, I might wish someone would buy it and continue the development on it, because he was kind of the first gen developer on it.
Yeah, it was a huge, like, he's the inventor.
Yeah. And he saw the future of this need for this and connecting GPS to the mapping software. But, you know, I think another change that's coming very soon on the horizon on the mapping stuff is it's all going to be soon on our phones, where we're not going to need a device, and we're just going to need an app on a phone.
Right.
That's then going to report backwards.
Yeah, because the iPhones sometimes have the satellite communication now.
Right.
Yeah.
So once that's prevalent across almost all devices and free, I think you can basically build an app that works in airplane mode that will just report your location back. So, you know, and so how much development time do you actually want to put into keeping the current software going when you know that that's on the horizon? I don't know. That's what's happening. So
you've thought about this more than I have. No, I think I like having a separate thing that doesn't, like, if your phone breaks, you've got this durable other thing that's packed away somewhere, kind of. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think there's probably gonna be a time when someone's gonna, like, live stream their race experience doing a bikepacking race.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, to get, like, you got, like, Starlink.
Oh yeah, they're gonna carry their little mobile Starlink.
Yeah, and just, like,
have it on their tail fin rack.
yeah, and with a, you know, GoPro or whatever, and they're just, like, talking, and they're live streaming the entire thing, and you can go on their YouTube channel, on their Twitch or whatever, and, like, tune into, like, it's like, oh wow, he's about to hit, like, you know, Martinez Canyon, like, let's go, like, tune in for that bit of the race.
You're right.
I mean, they live streamed Cocodona, which was amazing.
Right. They have a full production.
Yeah,
they
right.
have drones and follow cams and.
But, like, an individual, I think it's in the near future is going to do that in bikepack racing. It's not going to be me.
Do you think that would become popular?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it could be.
Probably depends on who it is, right?
Yeah.
Like how well they translate.
Yeah. Because people, like, there's people who will kind of, like, live stream, like, their whole life, you know, in, like, the Twitch world. I mean, it's not something that I have consumed, but I've heard about. Yeah, so if people are able to, like, keep something engaging and entertaining, you know, for, I don't know, Twitch streamers will do, like, 12 hours a day or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be someone who's got, like, the, you know, the ability and, like, the personality and the desire to do that.
Should have been Cruz Blue. Did you see Cruz just did the Arizona Trail
Who's this?
race? He's a 17-year-old boy. He's the youngest finisher, solo finisher of the Arizona Trail race.
Amazing.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Gen Zer or whatever the next.
Yeah, maybe him. Gen Alpha.
Dude, it's so hard just to, as a person who tried to make bikepacking videos and content and also tried to race and do it at the same time. It is so insanely too much to do.
Yeah.
You need to either not go fast or try to go fast and make content, or don't make content and go fast. It's just impossible.
Yeah. I definitely lean towards not doing content, but it's still, like, I think the best job I've done of it was during the Vermont Super 8 in September, where I had a GoPro, and I still, like, you know, I tried to do as much as I could, but, like, and spent a lot of time afterwards, like, trying to make it into something. But, like, I mean, one, the GoPro I have isn't it doesn't make it's not like a new one. It doesn't do great video and but yeah, I don't know. It's fun to have something.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't take good photos so far during races. And something I'm working on. Trying to take better photos during events. But also like, yeah, get like a photographer out there before the event and like get photos of you with your bike and whatever in the terrain, and then put it together. But yeah, I think the content production part is not where my strong suit is, and like
You're gonna have to learn that.
yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to do a little bit of that.
I do.
Right?
I mean, and I do some of it, but like it's not my strength is like the racing.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm focusing on, and like I'm gonna do some of the other stuff, but like it's not the primary thing that I'm good at. Yeah. Well, that is the case for some people.
It's the opposite for me. I'm good at the content, but I'm terrible at the racing.
Look at this. This is amazing.
Yeah, in the desert.
Yeah, this is about the best interview vibe scenario that I think you could possibly make.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
I appreciate that. He has a cooler full of drinks.
Yeah, I bring the drinks.
Yeah. I thought this was a real brick wall for a while.
I have had a few people tell me that. And then it starts moving and they get a little confused. Yeah. Because the brick wall is waving. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, for folks that are watching, we're like in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of the desert. There's been a few cars that have driven by at a lunch. It's like a picnic area.
Yeah, in the national park.
Yeah, inside the national park. And so, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm happy with the mobile setup. Real quick on the Vermont Super 8. So that was 650 miles. Mm-hmm. You won that. Mm-hmm. 3 days, 11 hours, 3 minutes. You smashed your derailleur hanger. Is that right? Your bike fell down or something, and
you done your research.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was, it's a figure 8 race around Vermont. Obviously, my mom living there and spending time up there, it's like a race of want to do. And the Logan Casper, who's won on Bound XL a couple times, I think he has or maybe just got taken from him the Eastern Divide Trail FKT. Awesome crusher from Massachusetts. He has the FKT on the Super 8, which is like 2 days and 22 hours or something crazy.
Okay.
And so I was gunning for that this last year and was ahead of his time. And also somebody else whose name I'm blanking on, who set the South Lobe FKT, because the race is 2 different loops. So he set the South Loop FKT, and I was ahead of that as well, and going up this paved climb, and just heard a pop, and I'm like, oh, the chain came off. Like, let me go and see what's up here. And I go, the derailleur's hanger is snapped. And it was like, it's kind of a funny situation when it happened. I was like, okay, I need to like set this up single speed. For one thing, I believe the first time in a bikepacking race forgot to bring a spare derailleur hanger. So this is the organizational piece that I'm trying to improve on. Having checklists of all the things you need to have with you in your repair kit. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to set up single speed. And so I didn't have much service there, but I could make a phone call. So I called my brother, and I'm like, hey, can you look up how to set up a bike single speed for me? Like talking for a second, and then the call drops. And then I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like looking at a map of where I am. I'm like a mile away from the top of this climb, and then it's like a huge, paved descent all the way down to this town where the store is closing in like an hour. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get there, and then I'm gonna figure this out. And so, tried to send my brother a message, but I couldn't. It was like, okay, I gotta go. So I'm walking the bike uphill, and then I coast downhill, and then there's like some flat bits, and I'm sitting on the top tube and like pushing with my feet on the pavement.
Yeah.
Eventually get there, and it turns out they had closed a half an hour earlier than what they had said when I called them like a month before. So I was like, okay, well, there's a restaurant in town. So like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to even fix this thing. It's kind of a fancy-ish farm to table restaurant, and I'm like, I don't like being the person who goes into a restaurant with like their bike packing gear and is like trying to be in a hurry and like, can I, bring me all these things or whatever. So I'm
Right.
like, I'm gonna chill out. Like, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna have a meal. I'm gonna like call my brother. Yeah, we like had a nice chat for half an hour. Just like kind of feel like I got out of race mode for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to look up how to do this single speed thing while like, eating some chicken and potatoes. Turns out, yeah, when you set up single speed, you have to break the chain somewhere unless you have like sliding dropouts. And so like, you either have the chain too loose or too tight.
Right.
So it's one or the other. So I went with too tight. And just like immediately I'm like turning the cranks, it's like
No.
I'm like, this does not feel right, and the chain's probably gonna break in 10 minutes, but like it's moving, so let's give it a go. And like, days of wasting. It's like 9 p.m. at this point. And I still like I didn't get a real proper resupply, so like I feel like I'm pretty low on food here. It's gonna be a bit of a crawl to get back to Montpelier where my car is, because you can resupply your vehicle halfway through this race.
Oh, okay.
Which is a fun little wrinkle that I like.
Interesting.
Yeah, because of figure eight, so you can like leave your vehicle there and you can put whatever you want in the vehicle.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had like fresh kit. I had a cooler full of food. I had like bed set up in the car. Like,
right.
Yeah.
No derailleur hanger.
Don't have a trailer hanger.
In your glove box.
Should have had that.
With your emergency roadside repair kit.
Yeah. So I take off, and then now I'm getting the experience of, I think a lot of people have bikepacking races where I'm eating 50 or less grams of carbs an hour, and kind of crawling along. You can just feel the resistance in the drivetrain as you're going along, and like I'm not used to single speed. I mean, I do like getting out of the saddle when I'm climbing, but like it's definitely having to like get used to this, and a lot of walking, a lot of things. So it was rough, and there's a certain part of this race, or either seen on the ride with GPS. It's like, little POI, like bushwhack through the woods for like a quarter mile in this direction.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there it was. You're just like, all right, pick up your bike and just like through the Vermont woods, like dense woods, just kind of hacking your way through. Which I don't know. I like when that's advertised, it's coming. I kind of like things like that where you just get to like, all right, I'm just gonna pick up my bike and just smash through here. And so I was like, it's single speed. I don't want to, mess with possibly like I'm going to destroy these parts. This cassette and this chainring are going to be dead after into this, and that's fine. I'm just gonna keep destroying them. And like let's not screw with trying to do other things. Like it's a pretty climby race. Like single speed's not gonna slow me down too much. I've got a big lead. The FKT is gone because of this, but like I can still finish it out and try and win. Yeah, and so did single speed the rest of the way. I'm turns out not a big fan of single speed. It's kind of fun in some ways, not thinking about shifting, but like you just go so slow. Yeah. Have you tried single speed? Are you a fan?
Many years ago.
Okay.
I just don't have the power for it.
Oh yeah, because you gotta. Yeah, it's crazy sometimes. Like I don't know. I mean, it is kind of nice sometimes. You're using your body in like very different ways.
Yeah.
You're not staying as consistently doing the same thing.
I might try it at some point. I'm not like against it. I know it seems to be very good for a specific set of types of races.
Yeah, some people do amazingly with it.
Yeah, like a lot of hike-heavy bikepacking races,
Yep.
it seems to excel on, just like statistically.
Right.
So I might try it someday. I don't know. Right now, I'm pretty happy with all my gears.
Yeah.
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 Interesting. So yeah, nice job. Most people would call it after that, especially with getting in your head just the the grinding and the resistance on every pedal stroke.
It became less so as the chain stretched throughout the
Yeah.
next 300 miles.
You never broke it though? You never broke your chain after
No, that happened like a week later.
Okay.
Yeah.
After you wore it all down to nothing. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, let's do a couple rapid fire questions and
Sure.
then we'll get you out of here.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. What's your we'll do a classic one that I just came up with, so it's a new classic.
Going to be a classic.
And this might be an easy one. If you could only pick one tire to ride, which one would it be for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I'd probably do the Race King.
Race King. Yeah. Saw that one coming. What's your favorite dirtbag bikepacker trick?
Ooh. Oh, crap. You asked this before, and I was listening to it, and I had something for this, and now see if I can remember what it is. Go look in the dumpsters behind gas stations. Often they'll throw away like their sandwiches, their pizza, all the hot food. You'll find like a big bag full of donuts or whatever. So if you got time, you're at a gas station. I think you've even said this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pastry thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because bakeries will just throw away, or Circle K's will throw away the donuts.
Yeah, if you find like a Dunkin', even better, or like Little Caesars. Yeah.
And it's like they're perfectly fine. They're just a little tiny bit stale. And when you're in the middle of these things,
they're like a day old.
Yeah.
If that. Yeah.
So, chamois or no chamois?
Definitely chamois. I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah.
I like wearing a chamois. I've recently been using Canberra, their chafe paint and their taint paint. I really like their anti-chafe cream because it has tea tree oil in it.
Oh yeah.
Which keeps away. It's like antimicrobial, and I've definitely noticed a difference in like before I was using chamois butter, and just like I get less funky stuff going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't tried no chamois, but it's worked pretty well for me. If I keep hygienic and use a lot of anti-chafe cream, then I'm usually pretty happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any tattoos?
Oh, okay.
And what's your favorite tattoo if you have one?
I think my favorite one's gonna be this one. The camera's probably capturing that, but
describe it.
I will describe it also because this is a podcast. It is a plant. It is the Avena sativa,
okay,
which is also known as oats. It is the grass from which oats come from. Big fan of oatmeal, and I wanted like a plant that is something that not many people would have on there as a tattoo, that is like also something a little common. So like finding beauty in the common things, I think, is a theme of my life, and so I feel like that fit that. So my friend Bridget made this, did this as a stick and poke. It is on my left thigh.
Like stick and poke tap. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, where you get like the needle and you dip it in this.
Interesting.
Ink and
Yeah, not the buzzing traditional.
Right.
I see.
It is an impressive amount of tattoo to do stick and poke style.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a very good job. Yeah.
Nice. What's your best or worst resupply experience of recent memory?
All right. Well, best one. This is kind of resupply, but I'm gonna take the opportunity to do this one. During the Super 8, there's a spot on route. This is another route where like there's certain people who will like allow you to stay in their home or whatever, who like is put onto the route, and if you like hit them up, which is awesome. And the Northeast Kingdom Guides service out in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont, and like the far northern part of this route, there's a guy there who runs this guiding service, and he's got this barn that his grandfather or his father had like built out to be a summer camp for, like, he would take kids from New York City, like take them out for summer camp there, and so it's kind of like built out with like bunks and bathroom and like a group kitchen in there, and so now he uses it when he's doing his guiding, like kayak guiding service, and so he allowed people to come there. And so like I showed up at this just house beside the road at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, okay, this is the open door, this must be it. And then like two people come out of the house and like, hey, you Dexter? I'm like, yeah. I'm blanking on both their names, but it was him and his girlfriend, and they were like, you want some food? I'm like, hell yes, I want food. Thank you. And they came out with like this chicken pasta and like gave me a bowl of it, and this like wonderful homemade clay bowl. It was like the most Vermont experience.
Amazing.
And we just sat by the fire. They like made a little fire in the fireplace there, and we're just like, shooting the shit, like eating that and drinking milk. And then let me go and stay in a bed up there. They were so nice, and it was like definitely the highlight of the event is just like getting to sit there by the fireplace and eat chicken pasta.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, where can people find you?
Right now in Tucson, Arizona, but online, come on by. I'm on Instagram, Kopeus.
Copious.
Copious. As in large amounts of something.
Carbs at the moment.
Yeah. Probably eating a lot of food.
SAUER looks like sour.tucson on Instagram.
Yeah, sour.tucson, SAUER, just like sauerkraut. And we're on, our website is thesour.weebly.com, I believe.
Cool. Yeah. I'll have all that in the show notes.
Sweet.
And let's see some of your sponsors. We mentioned Otso Cycles.
Yeah. Otso and Wolf Tooth, Redshift, Canberra, Carbs Fuel. Now just on the Wolf Tooth and Silka and Ocean and Sand bikepacking team. Pretty stoked about all that.
Old Man Mountain,
yeah.
in there as well.
Yeah, right. Those are the bikepacking team.
Oh, okay.
The experiment. Yeah, the new experiment. They're getting they have 15 people on somewhat of a team. They're trying to figure out how to do a team for bikepacking, but they supply everyone the gear, and they have a couple other sponsors, Silka and Ocean and Sand, supplying to that. It's kind of we all get to chat with each other and kind of share knowledge and ideas.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that idea of we're doing a team kind of thing. I think it fits in perfectly with kind of how I would like to see a more professional and more supporting bikepacking space.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Nice, man. All right, Dexter. Well, thank you for all your time today. Congratulations on your successful 2025 packed schedule, and you did really well. Very impressive.
Thank you.
And good luck on all your 2026 upcoming races we'll be watching.
Yeah, you as well.
And thanks for spreading all the knowledge and helping people to understand all the ins and outs of how to get 350 watts out of your legs.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's a lot of just, I don't know, be fortunate. But I would love, if anyone has questions about anything, please reach out to me.
Cool.
If anything I can help with in any way.
Sounds good. All right, Dexter, thanks, and we're out.